welcome back to the craft room and welcome to this week's edition of Saturday Craft. Today we are doing part 3 of the AI dog caddy, and it is trying to make an AI picture as a real object, AI crochet picture. This is how far we've got so far. We last week it was doing the base of the container. I will show you that a bit closer a little bit later on. And we've also done the patch paws. I'll show them as well. All the links to the pattern will be in the description. And we're also making the pocket facings today, and we need 5 of those. So I'm giving you the whole pattern I worked out for that, and we will get into it right now. Right, so first thing I wanted to show you is that I did make the paw print squares. I actually didn't make them into squares because at this stage they're already a bit too big. If you look at the dog on the screen, we're going to have to make 5 pouches, pockets is the word, and this was getting too big for a pocket. If we take my container here, which I'll just show you quickly, this is the container that I have finished the cover from last week. It was a couple of nights in front of the telly just going round and round and round, just single crochet. You look at last week's Saturday Craft video so you know how we did that. And I've done it, as you can see, just a little bit higher than the side, and that's so that we're not going to have it a hard edge on the top. It'll curl over a little bit. So this was all done, and we need to, if you saw on the photo of the AI dog, we only have from this corner over here to about halfway to here. I'm going to give myself all the way to here, so that's about 44 centimeters. So I've got to fit 4 pockets along here and then 1 here. So we need 5 pockets. And I did a lot of working out this week trying to get the right sizes for the pockets. And it ended up, my pockets, where's my measurements? This is all my chook scratching measurements, need to be 9 by 7 approximately. I've got a bit of leeway because what I need to do is they need to have edges around them so that they protrude or out so we can put stuff in. If I just do a patch, it doesn't give it a lot of room to spread out to put stuff in. And if you look on the picture, there is like a sew between them and they're out a bit from the base. So I hope that makes sense. By the way, this used nearly the whole other ball. Come under the light. So this was nearly, I'll show you how much was left. This is all I had left from a 100-gram ball, and this is 12 ply yarn. So that shows you how much I used making it. So that being said, this is the paw pads that I made up, and then I will put a link to the site that has this pattern on it. It's called yarnandhooks.com. Like I said, there will be a link in the description if you wanted to make your own. I do suggest you follow the video. There is a written pattern, but I found it quite difficult. It felt to me like there were certain words missing, and I had to watch the video to see what the lady actually meant. Nothing against it. It's a very good video, very good pattern, but follow the video. It's a little bit easier. I did like these as opposed to any other paw print ones because they're solid, and they're quite nice. I think what I might end up doing with these is I might join them together and make it a pin cushion for the caddy. I do like them. They're just a bit big for a pocket. So we will use these. It wasn't a total waste of time. So once I'd figured out the size for my pockets, the first thing I did was this sample. Now this sample is by looking at the picture and counting up what I thought was a stitch and what I thought, how many rows and that. And then I measured it of what size my container is, and it was too wide and too short. It needs to be higher and it needs to be narrower. So then I did this one, And this one I think turned out pretty much, hang on, no, it was this one first. I did my sample in the same colour, so I put a loop on the end so I know which one's the 12 ply one. So I did this one first. This was in 8 ply just to work out the stitches and the spacings to get the size right. And then this is done in 12 ply. As you can see, there's not a lot of difference. They've worked out pretty much the same. This one is just a little bit rougher, whereas this is the nicer yarn, and under some lights it has a bit of sparkle. So that's pretty cool. So that's what I was going to show you today, the pocket piece. Now you've got to remember that there's going to be an edge around this in the dark yarn, and then it will come up and down and attach the next one, and then these are going to be sewn to the outside of our container. So you need to do 5 of these, one for each one down the side and then the one from the end. I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to put wadding in between here to pull out the chest, or I'm just going to use the pocket. I was thinking to use the pocket, but we'll have to see what it looks like because I'm sewing it up last, so we'll go with that. So that was what I did this week. So we are going to make one of these today. I have written out my pattern, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to write it on here so that you can see it as I go. It is only, what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows. Yeah, about 5 rows. So first thing you want to do, I'll put it up here. Step 1, we want to chain 16. Okay, so we get our yarn. I'm going to put this up here so we can see it. Do yourself a slip knot over and over. Pull through. I give myself a decent tail so I've got something to hold on to. So we are just chaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Pull some more yarn. Tip that in there and it'll pull better. Is that where we're up to? I lost it already. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and 16. Right, so we've done that. Now what we want to do, take the lid off the pen. We want to DC, this is US terms, I'll write this over here. DC into 4th chain from hook. Okay, and then all the rest. So DC and then and across. And it should give you 14 DCs at the end of the row. So we will do that. Now what I wanted to say to you is that I like, especially on something I'm going to have to sew to later, is I like to work in the back bumps. So if we count down 4 chains, then turn it, we go into the bump on that chain. So that's, it's 4 chains, so it's 3 bumps down because there's a bump behind your hook. And we're going into, hopefully you can see that, the back bump. So you've got the V on the other side, and we want the back bump. And what that'll do is it'll give you a nice edge on the bottom, a nice V edge on the bottom that you can crochet through to attach the trimming to. So this is just double crochets. If you're using UK terms, that is a treble. We won't get into the differing terms, I'm just telling you what it is. So just go along here. Now if you're Speedy Gonzales, you can do the second one, which is just chain 2. I always chain 2 rather than chain 3. It stops you having such a big gap at the first stitch. It's not wrong, it's just the way I like to do it. So it's been a bit of working out for this week, getting the pockets the right size. Pull some more yarn. I was lucky with this yarn. I got a centre pull. I don't think anybody played with it in the shop. Are you a centre pull person? I am. Can't stand the yarn rolling around the table. Oh, that was the other thing. I would like some opinions. If you remember on the picture, you've got the dog head at this end. Let me just move it in so you can see. When we make the dog head, we're going to pretend that this is going to be the dog head, right? It sits here. Now, I can either make it as a huge filled cushion, or we can cut ourselves a bit of hardboard, maybe a bit of plastic or something, and fit it in here, and then sew the dog's head on top of that coming up. I'll lay it down so you can see better. So it sits in there, and so it's attached all the way around here, but then we've got a hollow underneath, so this can be a bigger yarn bowl. I'd like an opinions on whether we should do it like that, or it should be one complete amigurumi doll head and torso. I'm leaning towards a flat piece here, so it's less crocheting, but it also gives you a more usable size for the yarn bowl. If you let me know in the comments what your opinion is, I would be very grateful. And we've got to the end, so we need to check we have 14. We are counting the chain, so that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Wow, I can count. Amazing. So we chain 2, 1 and 2, and turn it over. I chain before I turn. That way I don't get a twist in the chain. You can turn and then chain, but it helps me keep an eye on it. So we need to write that down. So we go row 2, chain 2, turn, and DC across equals 14 DC again. So we go like that, put the lid on so we don't end up drawing on our yarn, and off we go again. Now if you have DC'd, you are not going in the first hole because your chain is your first stitch. So we've done that, go across again. I do think a DC or an English treble is one of the first things people learn to do because it gives you results fast. You learn single crochet, but I think most people, the first thing they actually make is in double crochet. At least that's my opinion. Gives you instant gratification, or nearly instant. Still have to do the work though. Alright, so we're getting along. Oh, and we're still using the 4mm hook with the 12 ply yarn. I'm going to try and use that throughout. I don't really like changing hooks for different reasons in one project. Try to use the same ones, that way your tension is consistent. And the last one. Now when you're going into a turning chain, I go under one loop and then back behind, so my stitch is actually going around the 2 other loops, and then the 1 loop stays at the front. So we've done that. So we've done chain 1, 2, 3. So now we will chain 3. So this is 3. I'll put this markers here so we know where it starts. So chain 3. Then we want 2 DCs. Now that's 1 in every stitch. Actually, we'll go like this. If I go like that, that means they're in every stitch. So if it goes what the stitch is, then we want how many we want. That's 1 in every stitch. If it's at the front, it's in the same stitch. That makes sense. And then we want to go, I'm going to have to go down here. I'll put a line here so we're not mixing up our rows. We want to go, this is all together. Chain 1, skip 1, and then a DC. So we're skipping a DC, a stitch, and DCing in the next one. And we want to do that 4 times, and then we want 3 DCs at the end. What I also might do over here is I'll go DC is a double crochet, skip is skip. What else have we got? Ch equals chain. What else have we got? Chain 2, turn. That's it for now. Yes, it is. All right, so I'll write the abbreviations over here. And that's what we're going to do. So the next one is we're chaining 3. 1, 2, and 3. Turn it over. We want 2 DCs. Remember, we're counting the chain, so we skip the first stitch. This is not running properly. So that's 1 and 2. So that gives us a little bit at the edge that is just double crochets. Gives us a good start. So we're chaining 1, we're skipping 1, we're DCing into the next one. Do that again. Chain 1, skip 1 into the next one. Chain 1, skip 1 into the next one, and then the last one, chain 1, skip 1 into the next one. Now it's visually you're going to have 4 here, but that's just the way it worked out size wise. So we just do our 3 double crochets at the end. It is 4, but the first one is part of the patterning, and then the last one is in the turning chain. Pull ourselves over some more string. So we've done that. So how many stitches do we have? We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Is that 10? 4 and 4 is 8. Yeah, it's 10. So in this one we have 10 DCs and 1, 2, 3, 4 chain 1s. Put a line there. Now we do number 4, and number 4 is chain 3 again, and then it's the 2 DCs, so DC times 2, that's 1 in every stitch. Now this one's the tricksy one. We want to skip 1, which is 1 DC, then we want to DC, I go like this, in next, and then DC around chain space. All right, now I'm going to show you that because that sounds really confusing. We're basically making a cross stitch, but I will show you. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Turn your work. We didn't write turn. Turn. I'll put a T there. T means turn. T, turn. Right. Chain 3. T, we want our 2 double crochets, skipping the first one. 1 and 2. Now we skip 1. We double crochet into the next one. Now that one, it will be the chain, so we're going around the chain, and then we want to come back and go through the one we skipped, like so, and that's our first twisted stitch. Hopefully you can see that. So next we skip 1, go into the next one, which is a chain again, and then we come back to the one we skipped and chain there. Not a chain, just a double crochet. So it looks very similar to the one below, but it is what it is. And the next one, and then back to this one. So this, I did it this way so it resembles the one in the picture as best I can. And then the next one, skip that, go into the chain. You could also do these as a treble with an extra loop, but it would make it higher. If your container maybe is deeper than mine, you could do that. And then the last ones, we just do the 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and then the last one goes into the turning chain. So under 1 loop, when I can get it under just 1, we'll try that again. We'll go under that one, how about that? And then twist it. Right, let me get my hand out the way so you can see that. So you can see the holes look similar to the picture. So we did that. So we skipped one, DC in there, and it's not the chain one, sorry, it's a round skipped stitch. And we repeat that across times, how many times did we do it? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times. And then it was DC times 3. That's the end of the row. And now number 5. That was the last of our patterning. So 5 and 6 is just chain 2, turn, DC across. And make sure you have 14 DCs, including chain. Can't spell. Chain. Right, so I'll just quickly do those. And so it's just 1 and 2. Pull more string out. String, yarn. It's not string. String's cotton or jute. So when you're coming back on your cross stitches, you need to do them in the order they were done. So you need the one that's like furthest away first. Do them as they present. When you see the back of the stitch, the one whose foot is closest to you, you do second, not first. Otherwise you'll end up with a double twist, which not really what we're going for. And that one, and that one, and nearly done. One in every stitch, no skipping, just plain DCs all the way along. And the last one, make it easy on myself, go under the first loop and then through the back so it twists around. Chain 2 and do it again, and then that's our last row. Last one. Okay, behind that and around. All right, pull one through one, cut ourselves a decent tail, pull through 2. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do before I do anything else is get our one with the loop on it. It's over here. Right, so that's the one I did the other night, and they match up exactly, so they're the same size. And we'll double check with our measuring tape. It is 9 by 7. Yes. Right, so I need 3 more of these, which I'll do this week, and then I'll also work out the edging for the pockets so that I can show you how to do that next week. So this, I'll move everything out the way. This is for the pockets, so we'll go I, dog, caddy, pocket, facing pattern. Now you also have to remember this fits the container I have. You might need to do maybe an extra single crochet row if yours is higher, or you might need to have 4 on either end, so in case you need it wider. You unless yours is exactly the same size as mine, you will need to adjust this slightly. Or you could just have the same size pockets as me on yours. We're going to sew them to the outside, so you can play around with that a little bit. I'm just not guaranteeing they'll fit other containers the way they fit my container. If we hold this up here, we can see how they're going to sit. So they will be sitting like that, and then like that, and we might even use this one. So he's going to come here, that's going to go there, and then we'll have one at the end. I'm actually going to wrap them a little bit around so that it bulges it out more curved like the one in the picture. And then we'll have one more there and then the one on the end, and that will be our pockets. And I think that will probably do for this week's Saturday craft. This is a little bit to do. I'm trying not to give you too much homework. And I will see you on the next Saturday craft. I hope you enjoyed it, and please like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And look at the end of the video, because I will put up the playlist I'm putting all of these into so you can follow it from the beginning. There is also a link to my Ko-fi page, so if you want to see the other patterns that I've done and other things that are available, please go there and have a look. And I will see you again next time. Bye.